Men over 60, 3 essential vitamins for energy, performance, and vitality. They told you that aging means slowing down, losing your erections, and running out of energy. But they were wrong. Completely wrong. Many older men don't lack desire. They lack circulation, stamina, and hormonal support. And most doctors never tell them the truth. It's not always about aging. It could be a deficiency in 3 specific vitamins your body is silently crying out for. I'm Dr. Cole, a men's health specialist with over 30 years of experience helping older adults regain their vitality, blood flow, and intimacy after 60. I've worked with thousands of seniors across the country, and what I've discovered might shock you. While most people think that prescription drugs or hormone therapy are the only options, the truth is that these 3 vitamins may be the key to unlocking your energy and natural erections. Today, I'm going to show you exactly which 3 vitamins every man over 60 should be taking and how they work to boost blood flow, increase testosterone, and help you reclaim the energy you thought was gone for good. And yes, they're effective even if you're in your 70s or beyond. By the end, you'll also discover the most dangerous mistake men make when taking these vitamins and how to avoid it. But before we dive in, let me know where you're from in the comments below. Alright, let's get straight to it. Starting with the most overlooked key to restoring blood flow and natural erections in men over 60. 1. Vitamin D, igniting circulation and desire. She still lies beside me every night, but I don't feel anything anymore. That was the barely whispered confession of Harold, 68 years old, when we began our session. A former veteran, now looking down at the floor, avoiding my gaze. Not because he no longer loved his wife, but because his body no longer responded in the way a man hopes for, and he felt ashamed. I want you to hear this clearly. Harold wasn't weak because of old age. He was simply lacking something that over 40% of men over 60 are also missing: vitamin D. It may sound like a small vitamin, but it acts as a switch that powers your entire circulatory system and sexual function, and you might be missing it without even realizing it. Vitamin D is something your body uses to produce easily. All it takes is stepping out into the sun. But after 60, your skin no longer absorbs sunlight as efficiently as before. Vitamin D helps your body produce nitric oxide, a molecule that acts like a key to widen blood vessels. When blood vessels dilate, blood can flow powerfully throughout your body, especially to the areas that need it most to create strong, natural erections. Without enough vitamin D, nitric oxide levels drop. Blood vessels constrict. Blood flow weakens. No blood, no erection, no connection. And without connection, you start to feel like a shadow of yourself. Clearly, it's not because you've aged. It's because your blood vessels are no longer being properly nourished. And when your circulation dries up, no matter how much you desire, your body simply can't respond. Symptoms like cold hands and feet, constant fatigue, lost desire, or weak erections are not signs that you're past your prime. They're cries for help from a circulatory system starved of sunlight. And the scariest part? Most people never find out the truth. They suffer silently. They blame aging. They accept a life that feels cold and dull, when in fact, it could have been reignited with something as simple as a few minutes of morning sunlight. But you don't have to be one of them. The good news is, you can change that, starting with something incredibly simple. Just 15 to 20 minutes of sunlight exposure each morning, especially before 9 a.m., can trigger your body to naturally produce vitamin D. If you live in a low sunlight area or can't get outside often, supplement with vitamin D3, the most easily absorbed form. Fatty fish like salmon and mackerel, as well as fortified milk, are also excellent sources. You won't see results overnight, but after just a few weeks of consistent supplementation, you may notice early changes: deeper sleep, sharper focus, and emotions returning. And most importantly, your body begins to respond again to the desire for touch, for connection, for intimacy. Don't underestimate this simple vitamin. To me, vitamin D isn't just the sunshine vitamin. It's the first spark that reignites a man's vitality. A light shining into the part of yourself you thought had long gone dark. I've seen patients who used to lose their breath just climbing stairs suddenly feel energized again, even reconnecting with their partners. This isn't theory, it's chemistry, and it's one of the simplest ways to reclaim your strength. But no matter how much your blood flows, you still need energy to keep it circulating, to keep you alert, alive, and ready for intimacy. And if you're getting enough sleep, but still feel foggy, sluggish, and disconnected, then the next deficiency might be draining your vitality every single day. Don't miss this, because if vitamin D is the key to unlock the flow, what comes next is the engine that keeps it running. 2. Vitamin B12, the ultimate energy generator. Let me ask you something, honestly. Have you ever slept a full 8 hours, eaten carefully, had no apparent illness, and still felt exhausted? You want to be close with your partner, but your body just won't cooperate. Sluggish, slow, unresponsive. I'm not asking out of curiosity. I'm asking because I've heard this from hundreds of men over 60. Men who were once the backbone of their families, the rock their wives leaned on, the grandfathers whose laughter filled the room. But now, it's different. I remember a patient named Richard, 71 years old. When he walked into my office, his posture was still strong, but his eyes seemed distant, like he wasn't really there. He said, "I still sleep. I still eat. I don't have any illness I know of. But I don't feel alive anymore. I just wait for the day to end." I looked at him, just like I've looked at many others, and I said, "Richard, this isn't aging. This is a deficiency." And it could start with something as simple as vitamin B12. Vitamin B12 is present in every cell and helps keep you alert, metabolize energy, and maintain your nervous system. Without enough B12, your body can't make enough red blood cells. Without red blood cells, your blood can't deliver oxygen efficiently, not to your brain, not to your muscles, and certainly not to the areas that fuel your desire and vitality. That's why you feel disconnected, not just from your partner, but from your own body. B12 is like a quiet generator powering your entire system. You don't notice it when it works, but when it breaks down, your whole system flickers. Poor focus, exhaustion even after rest, and intimacy that feels like a burden instead of a connection. Here's the cruel twist. After 60, your body absorbs B12 far less efficiently. You may still eat meat, eggs, dairy, but your digestive system no longer produces enough acid to convert B12 into a usable form. And if you're taking the cheap cyanocobalamin form, the one found in most generic multivitamins, it's likely passing through your body without ever being absorbed. The solution might be surprisingly simple. Increasing your B12 intake with high-quality supplements, or in some cases, doctor-prescribed injections, can dramatically improve your mental clarity, physical endurance, and sense of being awake again. And just 3 weeks later, Richard returned. Same walk, but a different look in his eyes. Something had lit up. He whispered, "I didn't expect this. I can take my wife for 2 laps around the park. I can read a book without dozing off." And my wife, she said, "I've started smiling again." I'm not telling you this story to give you hope. I'm telling it so you realize just how long you may have been missing something important. If you've ever felt irrationally drained, if you've ever felt like you're no longer the man you used to be, I want you to know it might just be a B12 deficiency, and you can get it back. And if you're ready to do that, if you're ready to reclaim your energy, then keep going, because energy alone isn't enough. You need strength. You need identity. You need your edge back. Now let's move to the next part, where I'll show you the essential mineral that helps awaken testosterone, protect your prostate, and help you become yourself again. 3. Zinc, the element of male identity. Have you ever looked in the mirror and seen a man who lives right, eats well, exercises regularly, doesn't smoke, doesn't drink, but somehow no longer feels like a man? I've met countless men like that. The first was a patient named Martin, a 70-year-old former aerospace engineer. Martin was the kind of man everyone respected, disciplined, moral, never one to complain. But that day, he looked at me and said, "Doctor, I don't understand anymore. I've done everything right. But when my wife touches me, I just feel empty." It wasn't that he didn't love her. It was that he no longer felt like himself. He felt as though something had stripped away his identity. I knew immediately what was going on. and I asked him, "Have you ever had your zinc levels checked?" Martin looked surprised. No one had ever mentioned it. Yet zinc is one of the most vital and most overlooked minerals for men over 60. Zinc is essential for producing testosterone, the hormone that governs strength, energy, erections, and a man's sense of control and confidence. Without enough zinc, testosterone drops. And when that happens, you don't just feel weaker in the bedroom. You feel weaker as a person. You get discouraged more easily, irritated more often, and slowly start believing that you're not valuable anymore. What's more dangerous, a zinc deficiency doesn't cause pain. It doesn't have obvious symptoms. It just quietly erodes your presence in your own life. Zinc is also the silent guardian of your prostate. That little gland too many men only think about when it starts causing problems. Zinc helps reduce inflammation, prevents enlargement, and maintains both sperm quality and physical pleasure. So, why do older men tend to run low on zinc? Because your body no longer absorbs it as effectively as it once did. Low-fat diets, avoiding red meat, and skipping seafood all contribute to gradual zinc depletion without you realizing it. Even alcohol and common antacids can sap this precious mineral. When Martin's labs came back, the deficiency was clear. We started with food, pumpkin seeds, oysters, liver, moderate red meat, then added a bioavailable zinc supplement. No megadoses. Just the right kind, taken consistently. 2 months later, Martin returned. He didn't say much. He just smiled and showed me a photo. Him and his wife walking along the beach, hand in hand. He said, "I don't need to feel 30 again. I just need to be the man my wife can lean on. And now, I'm back." You see, zinc isn't some magic pill. It's the foundation stone. No man can build the house of vitality without laying this brick first. And sadly, most men don't even realize they're losing it, bit by bit, every day. And if you think these 3 vitamins work in isolation, just wait until the next part. I'm going to show you what happens when you combine them the right way. It's not just synergy. It's a full-body rebirth. Don't miss it. 4. How to combine the 3 for maximum effect. Many people believe that simply taking whatever vitamins they're lacking is enough. Feeling tired? Take B12. Feeling cold? Add vitamin D. Heard zinc is good for men? Take some whenever you remember. Walter was one of those men. But that mindset is exactly what's limiting countless older men to just 10% of the strength they could actually reclaim, because your body doesn't work like a collection of isolated parts. It's a system, and so is recovery. In reality, when combined the right way, these 3 vitamins don't just add to each other's benefits, they amplify them. They create a ripple effect that can transform not only your energy or erections, but your entire experience of aging. I told Walter something very simple. The issue wasn't the vitamins themselves, it was that they had never been used the right way, together. And once you combine these 3, vitamin D, B12, and zinc, something remarkable happens. Your body fires back up from the ground up. Vitamin D relaxes and widens the blood vessels, increasing flow to the areas that have long felt numb. B12 delivers oxygen and energy through the blood to every single cell. Zinc safeguards and sustains testosterone production, helping you keep your masculine strength and daily confidence. Each plays its role, but together they form what I call the triangle of vitality: circulation, energy, and hormones, the core foundation of a strong, intimate, and vibrant life after 60. Just a few weeks after starting the full combination protocol, Walter returned to my clinic. He laughed, slapped my shoulder, and said, "It's like I reinstalled my old engine, and now it runs smoother than when it was new." He didn't just feel better. He felt like himself again, confident, connected, and alive. This isn't just one man's story. I've watched hundreds of men transform once they understood that true health doesn't come from random pills. It comes from synergy, consistency, and knowing what your body truly needs to recover. And you can experience that too, but only if you avoid one very common mistake. The mistake that has cost countless men time, money, and still left them feeling nothing. If you're taking vitamins and still feel tired, foggy, or disconnected, then get ready, because the next part will help you avoid the same painful trap that millions of men have fallen into. 5. The mistake most men make, taking vitamins without actually taking them. Let me tell you the story of Mr. Howard, a 73-year-old man, thin, with sunken eyes from poor sleep. That day, he walked into my office, holding a plastic bag filled with all kinds of vitamins, big bottles, small bottles, labels of every kind. He laid them all out on the table and sighed. "I take all of these every day, doctor, but I'm still tired. I still don't feel like a man anymore." I looked at each bottle, B12, D3, zinc. They were all there. But the issue wasn't quantity. The real problem was quality and timing. The biggest mistake I see in many men over 60 is believing that just taking vitamins is enough. But not all vitamins are created equal. One wrong type, the wrong dose, or the wrong time can turn all your effort into nothing. Take vitamin B12, for example. Mr. Howard was using cyanocobalamin, cheap, common, but very hard for older bodies to process. The more effective form, methylcobalamin, costs a little more, but is the real key to restoring energy and clarity. The same goes for vitamin D. He had been taking D2, which is far weaker and less absorbable than D3. And the zinc? Unfortunately, it was zinc oxide, a form that mostly flushes out of the body before it can do any good. On top of that, he was inconsistent. Some days he forgot, other days he doubled the dose. The body doesn't like chaos. It needs rhythm. It needs consistency. And after 60, if you can't build a steady rhythm for your body, every pill becomes just a passing breeze. I helped Mr. Howard make a few simple changes. Only 3 supplements, but the best kinds. Vitamin D3 in the right dose, B12 as methylcobalamin, organic zinc in gluconate form, and most importantly, taken every day at the same time without skipping. A month later, he came back. No plastic bag of vitamins this time. Instead, he had a confident gaze, his shoulders stood taller, and his voice was stronger. "I'm sleeping deeply, waking up early without coffee. My wife says I seem different, and I feel it too. I feel alive again." That's not magic. That's science, when you do it right. And if you're wondering, how do I start doing it right every day in a way that's simple and actually works? Here's the answer. You don't need more, just the right things, at the right time, in the right way. Each morning, begin with a large glass of water to wake up your circulatory system. Then take your methylcobalamin B12 with a protein-rich breakfast, 2 eggs, a glass of unsweetened milk, or some Greek yogurt. This improves absorption and energizes you for the whole morning. After breakfast, get some sunlight. Just 15 to 20 minutes of early sun exposure helps your body naturally produce vitamin D, the nutrient that powers your blood flow and reawakens long-lost desire. On cloudy days or during winter, take a high-quality D3 supplement with your main meal to maximize absorption. At lunch, bring in zinc. Eat a handful of pumpkin seeds, a few slices of lean red meat, or take a zinc gluconate supplement if your meal is light. Zinc boosts testosterone, protects your prostate, and keeps your mind sharp and steady. That's it. No drastic overhaul. Just 3 steps, consistent, daily, and you'll be rebuilding the foundation of your health, your performance, and your intimate connection. You don't need to reclaim your 30s. What you truly need is to reclaim the feeling your 30s once gave you, the vitality of jumping out of bed in the morning without groaning from fatigue, the quiet confidence that your body still holds enough fire to love, to hold the woman you cherish without fearing you'll run out of breath, the strength to look in the mirror and still see a man who's alive, not just existing. I've met far too many men over 60 who live as if they're slowly retreating from life. They still smile, still meet friends for lunch, still answer the phone. But inside, they're fading. Quietly, gradually, and no one notices, no one asks. Because they're men. Who's supposed to talk about such things? And that's exactly why I want to say this clearly. You are not alone. That weariness, that sense of no longer feeling like yourself, that is not your fault. And more importantly, it can change. You don't need to go back in time. You just need to move forward as a new version of yourself. Stronger, more intentional, more connected. A 65-year-old version who wakes up with energy, goes to bed with contentment, and lives each day with the quiet knowing, I still matter. Recovery doesn't start in the gym. It begins with one inner decision. The belief that you are still worth caring for, worth loving, worth fully experiencing life. And the 3 vitamins you just heard about, they're just the beginning. But they're the most important beginning. Because if you don't give your body what it truly needs, you don't just lose your health, you lose your sense of self. And if you're still here, still listening, then I know one thing, there's still hope inside you. Don't let it fade. You've already taken the first step. Now it's time to take the next step, not to become someone else, but to return to the man you were always meant to be. Strong, clear, intimate, full of life. If this video stirred something in you, don't keep it to yourself. Share it with another man who may be suffering in silence the same way you once did. Because a simple gesture like that might be the most powerful thing you ever do for someone else. You're not past your prime. You just haven't started over the right way. And if you're ready, then tomorrow morning could be your new beginning.